Hey everyone, thank you for joining me for this live video here. I'm just going to be chilling and having a quick second lunch or evening dinner, whatever. I don't know. I'm having a meal. I'm hungry, basically. Consider it late lunch. I'm watching a video right now from BuzzFeed. Usually I'm not a big fan of videos from BuzzFeed, but this one's the exception here. It's this series called BuzzFeed Unsolved, and they do supernatural and crime-related videos, and it's from BuzzfeedBlue to be exact. And they're actually very entertaining videos. Like I said, like I've tried telling other people about these videos, and they say like, "Oh yeah, BuzzFeed, I'm not really a big fan of that." I'm like, "Hey, I agree with you too." Usually, I would say the same thing if someone introduced me to that. In fact, I may have actually said the same thing when I was introduced to BuzzfeedBlue. But no, actually, these videos are actually pretty good. I would definitely give it a watch. In fact, I'm going to play it right now so you can hear what's going on. And you can hear how they're different from other types of videos that BuzzFeed produces. All right.
What was that? Stop it. Let's get into it.
In 1863, a prospector named Henry Wickenburg found a quartz deposit with gold in Arizona's desolate Sonoran Desert and founded Vulture Mine. The mine quickly became Arizona's most successful gold mine. Imagine, if you will, a mine so rich that between 1863 and 1942, it produced over 340,000 ounces of gold.
Holy crap.
And 260,000 ounces of silver.
Oh my God.
To put that into perspective, the gold alone would be valued today at a shade over $430 million.
Ooh, you can do a lot with that. Yeah, that's safe to say. I guess I didn't realize that places were actually flush with gold. I thought one person would show up, find a pound of gold, and then 500 other people would come and be sad.
No, these hills were literally leaking gold. It was just there for the taking.
It's the only reason I would have wanted to be alive back then.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking the exact same thing.
Metals.
The mine was so lucrative that an accompanying mining settlement called Vulture City was built in 1866 to meet the needs of the many new miners, with a population of as many as 5,000 residents.
That's a lot for back then. I know that seems like a small number.
Here it is, yeah.
But for here, that's overflowing.
A boom town.
Just stood in the street.
Just being in a town full of people who just do what you do.
That just love gold. They're there for greed, essentially. This was a town.
What are you here for? I love gold. I love gold too. I love gold as well.
That's everyone. That's everyone in the town.
By the 1890s, there was a serious downturn in the mine's productivity. However, it wasn't until the outbreak of World War II that mines not essential to the war effort were shut down, ultimately forcing Vulture Mine to close. This once booming city of gold now sits vacant as a ghost town, collecting only cobwebs and dust. Eerily, skeletons of the town still remain. Dilapidated buildings and leftover landmarks of tragedy are said to be haunted by those who never left.
So this is
There's skeletons
the old ghost town.
Like no one has cleaned up.
Part of Vulture City.
Oh, from
There's the assay building.
I hate that.
What's up here?
That's the bordello.
Ooh.
That's the hanging tree right there.
The area in general has reports of disembodied voices, cold spots, spirit orbs, and apparitions. That being said,
what insight are you trying to gather from here? All right, if there's anybody in here right now with us that wants to say anything, make a noise. What is that?
What is that?
He's walking around.
Maybe it was a rat.
Should we go see what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little
Well,
snake.
here.
A snake with footsteps?
Can you imagine a little snake wrapped around like a little pickaxe? Show a little hat on?
You heard those, right? That wasn't me just being crazy.
You heard metal moving.
Right.
I'm not trying to do that whole dismissive thing, but
Right.
I'm dismissing it.
One last time. We're about to head out of here.
All right.
I mean, that brings up a quick question for me. It's like, how do you know what a ghost sounds like? To the host, the co-host. It's like, how do you even know what a ghost sounds like? Like, oh, you heard that ghost, right? And you don't know that was a ghost. That did not sound like a ghost. We don't even know what a ghost sounds like. Not definitively, anyway. Like, there's no official, like, recognizable sounds, like, recognized by people that ghosts make. Like, that sounded like metal hitting something, or that did not sound like a ghost.
All right, man. You just gotta.
Okay, I just chill. I gotta chill.
Just gotta chill.
I'm gonna chill.
Vulture Mine is also where the notorious Jacob Waltz, or as he's come to be known, the Lost Dutchman.
Oh, he sure does
The
sound
Lost
lost.
Dutchman.
Go on.
The Lost Dutchman likely worked as a foreman for several years. Allegedly, Waltz was one of the worst thieves the mine ever saw. Waltz also claimed to have a secret mine in the Superstition Mountains where he would return with enormous quantities of gold. To this day, nobody has found the location of Waltz's mine, now referred to as the Dutchman's Lost Mine, though some believe the Lost Mine doesn't exist, and that the gold Waltz claimed to find there was merely gold that he stole from Vulture.
Yeah, it was 100%. He's just showing up with pockets full of gold, and people are like,
Where'd you get
Where'd
that,
you get
Jacob?
that? I found it out in the hills.
It's from my secret mine. Only I know where it is. Don't check my
It
word.
only appeals to me at midnight.
Unfortunately, due to deterioration, the actual mining tunnels are no longer safe for entry. But there is one place open for visitors that serves as a massive tombstone to former webs of mining tunnels. This spiritually active area is unfortunately referred to as the Glory Hole.
I thought glory hole used to mean something very innocuous, though.
It was innocuous back then.
Uh-huh.
But this is not, I was about to say, it got that name because penises were No,
It's where the men fucked the earth, hoping to impregnate it with gold.
The Glory Hole is a reported site of great tragedy.
A reported site of great tragedy.
Tell me all about the tragedy, Ryan.
In
That's such a weird way
1923,
of
this
wording that.
cavern collapsed after one of the stone support pillars was overmined for the valuable ores inside of it.
Wait a minute. They were mining the support beams?
Yeah.
Carl, I don't think you should do that. That's there's gold in here. I know it.
Mind your own business. I'm going to strike it big.
The collapse killed 7 miners and 12 burrows, leaving their bodies trapped and undiscovered in the
That's so
rubble.
bogus,
Former
but
caretaker
that was
Marty
pretty
Hagen
funny at the
believes
same
the
time.
collapse occurred because the 7 ill-fated miners were stealing, thus chipping away without regulation. He believes part of the reason their bodies remain is due to the fact that they were thieves, and a proper burial was in high priority.
Just imagine all that we're standing in was just miles of elaborate, complex, intertwining tunnels.
13 miles?
13 miles. And now just all in one fatal swoop gone, burying people down below. It's crazy. That being
That was
said,
pretty much stuff. Take a drink.
a bug flew up my nose.
Yeah, I think I've swallowed about 6 tablespoons of bugs at this point.
If there's anybody who
Damn
wants to
bugs.
let their presence be known, say something, move something, maybe even throw something.
Rock slide would be
The
very
bugs would be
efficient.
especially
God, I
annoying
feel like
right
I can't
now
believe I'm provoking these people.
in that particular regard.
It's so silent.
Aside from the bugs in my ears, yes.
Is it true that you stole gold and you were down here when you weren't supposed to be? You took a little bit more than you should have, and that's why you got crushed to death? Oh, jeez, that was
A
pretty
bat flew right behind you just now.
Are you serious?
That bat was straight up going for your ass. It was an ass bat.
All right, well, I think we're going to leave. Maybe I'll hear you later when I analyze this audio. Or, according to Shane, it'll just be rocks rustling or a rubber shoe pivoting, something stupid like that.
You honestly think we'll get audio of rocks rustling around here? What?
Another paranormal hotspot is the 2-story assay building, once used to produce bars of semi-pure gold and silver. Back in the day, this building contained a vault where these bars and precious metals were kept safe. It's said that the whole city in general was lawless and ran rampant with crime.
I love it. Especially, crime's even better when it just involves bars of gold.
So also one interesting fact about the city that I haven't included is it was ran mostly by vigilante justice.
Oh,
So there was just, people were running amok, stabbing people in the neck.
this is
Yeah.
great. I'm a big fan of the West, you know?
Yeah,
Cowboys, Westerns. I like Deadwood on HBO.
There was a lot going on. It was action, dancing, gold, smooching.
Dancing.
Dancing, gold, smooching, action. That's all they did back in the day.
Lordy.
Yeah, that sounds like your kind of town, except for the action part.
Yeah, I'm more of a rockin' guy.
You're more of a dancing and smooching kind of guy.
Bring me some gold. Bring me some smooches.
And then running away from the action.
Oh, action?
Even so, the assay building, due to the valuables that it was protecting, was reportedly under constant attack by avaricious bandits hoping to procure the gold inside. While we have no documentation confirming these attacks, one could assume that such a violent area may have resulted in some deaths, perhaps explaining the negative feel reported by visitors to the assay building. People have reported rocks being thrown and dust falling from the ceiling as if someone is above. One investigator captured an EVP of someone saying, "Get out."
Oh, there's a rat. There's a big-ass rat.
Where'd he go?
He's behind the tarp.
Ain't that just like a rat?
This is pretty intense. This looks like some kind of kiln of some sort. I'm not sure, but...
A furnace, maybe.
Yeah.
At this moment, our audio recorder picks up what sounds like a loud whisper.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think that is?
Well, I think it's a whisper, but that's also because, if you notice, it's going over my voice.
Yeah.
It sure is.
I think it's fair to say it's not either of our voices.
Here's the thing, there's so many different noises going on at once here. And then, wait, what, there's a ghost whisper somewhere in this little moment?
Yeah.
And what does it say? It just goes...
I think
that's the message from the great beyond.
Well,
God said, go back to Earth. You're not done yet. I want you to tell them something. Oh, what do you want me to tell them?
Is there anybody in here with us right now?
Other than the rat.
Other than the rat? So this is the storage room. This is where they actually kept all the bars of gold. There's a vault in here somewhere.
Right.
And I imagine this is the room that was under constant attack by bandits.
Maybe there's some leftovers.
I doubt it.
How are you feeling, Ryan? Does this
I don't like
place
this.
spook you?
Yeah, I don't like that room.
What don't you like about this room?
Is there anybody in here with us? I feel like there is.
Do you feel someone in here? Oh, there's another rat
Where?
on the ground.
Dead?
No, he's moving around. He's under the wood.
Oh.
Just a heads up.
Right now we are in the living quarters of the assay office. We have a motion light right there. We're going to ask something to walk near that table. I mean, there's a tripod right there. There's a tripod right there. There's GoPros. Obviously, Shayna has a camera. We are the only ones in this building.
Nobody else in the room.
This is going to be insane. If this turns on, I'm going to lose my mind. If you're here once again, please step near that table. There's a white box on top of it. Just step near it. This table. Oh, this is making me so sad.
I'm not going to gloat here because just at a certain point I feel bad for you. What happened to the thing where you talk to them like you're one of their pals in the era?
Well, like a cowboy accent like this.
Howdy, I'm just here to steal your gold.
You can do me a favor. Take that gold right there on the table.
Didn't take you for a coward.
I guess that's all you are.
I stole your gold and your wife.
Another troublesome landmark at Vulture Mine is the hanging tree that still stands on the property.
I just like that they found one good tree and they were like, that's the one.
This one's sturdy.
We're going to use that over and over.
It's not doing anything else besides casting shade. Not throwing shade, but casting shade.
Do you think people felt bad catching shade from that tree on a sunny
I
day?
can't imagine they picnicked under the hanging tree, especially because a lot of times they just left the body hanging there.
What?
Anyways, moving on.
In fact, some believe that Henry Wickenburg, who at the end of his life declined in both health and wealth, committed suicide by gunshot near this tree. Either way, the remains of Wickenburg's personal cabin still sit by this tree. But as the name would suggest, this tree held a much more ominous purpose. According to legend, as many as 18 miners were hung from this very tree between the 1860s to about 1900, the crime being stealing. It's said that hangings at this time were particularly brutal, due to the fact that the condemned person was set on a rock, which was then kicked out from under him. Using this method, the amount of time it would take to die/suffocate could take between 2 minutes and 2 hours.
Oh, no neck snapping, huh?
No, they would just sit there on their tippy toes, and eventually they would get tired, And
That's rude.
Slowly suffocate. Yeah, I know.
You just want to just be a gentleman. If you're going to hang someone, be a gentleman about it.
Also, don't steal. You want to dance with the devil, you got to live with it when he sets you on fire.
Okay. You can embroider that on a pillow or something?
No.
It's it's like old maxim.
I don't think that's actually, I just made that up.
Oh, very good.
Okay.
Very good.
Great.
Even more horrifying, they apparently wouldn't bury the bodies in a cemetery, but instead on site. Some believe there are bodies littered around the area.
I mean, this is a hell of a tree.
I mean, it definitely has character. It looks like a Tim Burton tree.
This looks like one of those Wizard of Oz trees that comes to life and fucks you up.
By the way, this foundation... Is that a bat or was that a bird?
We're in bat country, buddy.
I don't flying towards my face all the time. Jesus. This is Wickenburg's house right here. The man himself, the guy who pretty much died in the streets. Why don't we just reach out right here, in between the hanging tree and Wickenburg's house? Kill two birds with one stone.
I do like that his home was right by the tree. He was like, well, we'll hang these men right outside my bedroom window.
He probably likes sipping on a little cup of tea, watching them kick to their death. And that's what you get, stealing from our minds.
Jesus. Maybe the guy did deserve to die in the streets.
Yeah. All right, there's anybody here right now, whether it be Henry or any of the 18 anonymous who hanged from this tree. Oh, I got a sudden hint of bravery right now.
Use it. Please take advantage of this moment.
I'm feeling brave right now.
Put him in his place.
Yeah. Show yourself. If there was actually 18 people who met their death at this spot, show yourself. Oh, that's just the camera hitting the branches. I immediately lost all the courage I had as soon as I heard a noise.
He thinks you're cowards.
I retract that.
Thieves.
I was in a moment of, I think it's a little hot out here. I got a little bit of heat stroke.
Scoundrel!
Arguably the most active area on the property is the old schoolhouse, used to educate the children of the miners. People have reported seeing a dark figure and hearing children's laughter. In one instance, an investigator was physically attacked by being pushed. Rumor has it that near the schoolhouse, there is a mass grave of children who died of the plague, feeding the spiritual activity within the house.
So what's the factual basis behind the plague? What plague?
I don't know. There's no records, all right? Sometimes...
What plague? What, did a teacher just, open up her mouth and flies came out? And...
I don't know. It says, rumor has it, there's a